of the 5 honorees on stage this evening represents the values of persistence and excellence in the pursuit of greater good.
You are role models with distinguished records of vision, leadership, and excellence who have, each in his or her areas, attempted to make a difference.
On behalf of my fellow honorees, I offer you our profound gratitude for the honor you have bestowed on us.
Erev Tov, Gvirotai v'Rabotai, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. We're assembled here in the Claire Sonnenfeld Auditorium for the conferment of honorary doctoral degrees as part of the 49th Annual Board of Governors meeting, and we're delighted to be sharing this festive occasion with you. Our ceremony begins with the academic procession. Kindly rise and remain standing until the procession is concluded, and as is our custom, please refrain from applause until all members of the Presidium have been seated. I'm now pleased to invite the members of the Presidium to come before this assembly. The procession will be led by the deans of the university faculties and by senior members of the academic administration. Professor Raz Jelinek, Vice President and Dean of Research and Development. Professor Dudi Bartzvi, Deputy Dean of the Kreitman School for Advanced Graduate Studies. Professor Moshe Kaspi, Dean of Students. Professor Amos Katz, Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences. Professor Avi Levy, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering Sciences. Professor Racheli Barkan, representing the Guilford Glaser Faculty of Business and Management. Professor Amit Shechter, Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. Professor Michal Shapira, Dean of the Faculty of Natural Sciences. Professor Noam Weisbrod, Director of the Jacob Blaustein Institutes for Desert Research. I'm now pleased to invite the Vice Chairpersons of the University's Board of Governors to join the procession. Lloyd Goldman, United States, Deputy Chairman. Ellen Marcus, USA. It's now my pleasure to invite up to the stage Alex Gorin, Chairman of the Board of Governors. Yarom Aryav, Chairman of the Executive Committee. Professor Chaim Hames, Rector of the University. Professor Daniel A. Shamovitz, President of the University. It now gives me pleasure to invite the recipients of the Honorary Doctorate. Judge Professor Ahmad Natour, Israel. Dr. Jan Low, USA. Ambassador Daniel B. Shapiro, USA. Toni Young, USA. Ohad Naharin, Israel. Kindly be seated, ladies and gentlemen. I would now like to call upon the President of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, Professor Daniel A. Shama, to address you.
Good evening, friends, colleagues, honorees, and the families. This evening, we gather to celebrate excellence. But I want to begin by sharing our recent experience of how such excellence plays out under difficult conditions. Just 2 weeks ago, missiles threatened our campus here in Beersheba, and especially on our medical campuses in Ashkelon and in Ashdod. Despite concerns for personal safety, our administrative and technical and academic staffs showed up for work, continued their daily lives, and were an honor to our university. Our professors and other academic personnel in Ashkelon and Ashdod treated the many civilians injured by the mortar fire while they themselves were under constant threat. You, my colleagues, exemplify that we are Israel's university at the frontier, a university essential to Israel's future. I salute you all and am proud to be your president. An honorary doctorate is the highest academic honor. We award honorary degrees to persons who have distinguished themselves by academic, scientific, or creative excellence, through outstanding service to the university, or through activities of notable benefit to society and humanity as a whole. We bestow the doctoral honoris causa upon individuals who exemplify the characteristics that we wish to hold up as inspiration to our students and as role models to our community of scientists, scholars, and supporters. Individuals for whom excellence is not a buzzword, but rather an innate value. For me, each of the 5 honorees on stage this evening represents the values of persistence and excellence in the pursuit of greater good. Each has endeavored untold hours every day over months and years to achieve greatness, to make our world a better place. But the truth is, they do not need us to acknowledge their accomplishments. They did not labor to be acknowledged, and we thank them for allowing us to honor them. Their acceptance of an honorary degree from BGU provides us with a mirror through which we hope to see a bit of ourselves and honors our institution and what it stands for. Indeed, a university's success is tied to its commitment to instilling values in its students and in the academic products that result from years of persistence and years of commitment to excellence. Our ability to impact Beersheba and the Negev, to impact Israel, and to impact the world derives first and foremost from our commitment to academic excellence. During my first 4 months as president, I have used the word excellence countless times, from my first meeting with our executive committee, to subsequent meetings with various departments and faculties, and in meetings with individual researchers. Excellence, like beauty, is difficult to precisely define, but something that everyone identifies when they see it. I think you will agree with me that our 5 honorees tonight clearly exemplify excellence. As we count down, as you see here on the left, to the 50th Board of Governors meeting of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, I want to pause and reflect on another 50th anniversary. As we bestow the university's highest honor, it is apt that we also mark the fact that 50 years ago, more or less this month, the very first class of graduated from BGU's predecessor, the Institute for Higher Learning in the Negev. Those students commenced their studies on April 1st, 1964, in the single lecture room at the Negev Research Institute. At that time, the population of Beersheba was not much larger than the number of people who now visit this campus every day. Since the Negev Research Institute wasn't a recognized institution of higher learning, the Hebrew University had to provide academic oversight. These first students were taught by some of the very same professors who later taught me as emeritus faculty in the 1980s, pioneers of Israeli biology such as Professor Avram Fan, Shimon Klein, and Yoash Vadia. And in May 1969, 50 years ago, 23 students graduated with a BSc degree in biology from what would eventually become Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. So as we start the celebrations leading to our Jubilee, we can also celebrate 50 years of college graduates in Beersheba. In 1958, David Ben-Gurion wrote to the founding director of the Negev Research Institute, and I quote with my own translation, "Only the scholars and scientists who will sit at the gates of the Negev, those scholars and scientists who will become one with the expanses of the Negev, through constant observation and continuous research and experimentation in the vast southern areas of our countries, only these will be able to expose its treasures." Just consider these words for a second. Scholars and scientists who will sit at the gates of the Negev. I wonder if Ben-Gurion could have envisioned then this gathering, this ceremony, these distinguished honorees sitting here at the gates of the Negev. But even if not, it is clear that he would be heartened by this ceremony, inspired by the individuals we have chosen to recognize tonight. Ben-Gurion, who wrote in 1950 that self-sufficiency in food is the question of our lives and our existence, I think would be thrilled to have Dr. Jan Lowe, co-laureate of the 2016 World Food Prize, as an honoree of our university. Her selfless work to alleviate hunger and malnutrition in Africa is a prime example of science harnessed for the greater good. If she were Israeli, Dr. Lowe would certainly be part of Mashav, Israel's Agency for International Development Cooperation, founded by Ben-Gurion's leadership in 1957. Qadi Justice Professor Ahmad Natour, first we wish you and your family and friends Ramadan Kareem. Professor Natour's 20 years of service as president of the High Sharia Court of Appeals, as founder of Israel's modern Sharia court system, symbolizes Ben-Gurion's dream of Arab citizens playing a part in building, and again I quote, playing a part in building the state on the basis of full and equal citizenship and due representation in all of its institutions. Ohad Naharin, the creator of Gaga language, of movement, and a towering figure in the international world of dance, is a singular artist. David Ben-Gurion had a keen appreciation for the link between body and mind, and as we know, he even learned to stand on his head at an advanced age. He would certainly have admired Naharin's groundbreaking work, linking body, mind, and sensation. Daniel Shapiro, former U.S. ambassador to Israel, embodies David Ben-Gurion's statement from 1951, and again I quote, "We have a strong, vital connection to American Jewry and the American people as a whole. And I hope that the friendly relations between us and the great American democracy will go on because this friendship has deep roots and is not the product of a quasi-diplomatic trick." Ambassador Shapiro, a professional, accomplished diplomat, an American Jew, and a resident of Israel, played a central role in strengthening of military cooperation between the U.S. and Israel. He cares deeply about the Negev and the continued prosperity of the State of Israel. And Toni Young, president of American Associates of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, is a devoted philanthropist and leader of the American Jewish community. Lover and generous supporter of culture and the arts, she generously funded, together with her late husband, Stuart B. Young, the Amos Oz Initiative for Literature and Culture, primarily in Ohad, and the Writers' House in Beersheba, which enriched the literary and cultural world of the Negev's residents. In addition to the doctoral honoris causa, we recognize this evening a long-term friend who has been actively involved in guiding the university. Advocate Asher Khaled, The outgoing chairman of the university's executive committee will receive the President's Award in recognition of 2 decades of commitment, completely in a voluntary capacity, to the university's vision and success. Dear honorees, your actions and accomplishment are an inspiration for all of us here today. We are proud and delighted to have you join our family, and we look forward to welcoming you on many future occasions to Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shamovitz. I now call upon Professor Chaim Hames, Rector of the University, to deliver his greetings.
Mr. Alex Goren and Mr. Lloyd Goldman, outgoing and incoming Chairman of the Board of Governors, Mr. Yaron Ariav, Chairman of the Executive Committee, Professor Shamovitz, President of our university, Vice Presidents, Deans of the faculties, members of the Board of Governors, faculty and students, honoraries and their families, ladies and gentlemen. Why are we all gathered here this evening? What is the purpose of this ceremony? For me, aside from the opportunity to meet and talk with some fascinating people and bestow upon them the highest honor offered by the university, their presence here also provides a moment for reflection. To take a step back from the day-to-day running of this wonderful institution and remind ourselves why we are doing what it is we are doing. One of the things we pride ourselves on is our democracy, which has played an enormous role in creating and sustaining a pluralistic society, supporting free speech and the basic premise that everyone is equal under the law. There can be no doubt that Israeli academia in general, and Ben-Gurion University of the Negev in particular, has achieved as much as it has so far, thanks to a democratic system which valued education, supported the concept of academic freedom, and was willing to use taxpayers' money to finance research. Our democracy is under attack, and we remain relatively silent. While we sit in our ivory towers and focus on doing excellent research, politicians are seeking ways to undermine the rule of law and circumvent or curtail the High Court. The rule of law is no longer a given, and the pernicious use of social media as a way to emasculate serious discussion of the issues and influence public opinion is disquieting. What is more worrying for us is that part of this ongoing campaign is also aimed at the universities, which are depicted negatively. Professors who write and speak out against what is happening are depicted as left-wing intellectual elites and are portrayed as being anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, or lefties. This is disingenuous and a manipulation of the truth, as university professors are just as varied in their political opinions and outlooks as the rest of society. And when we interview candidates for academic positions, we do not ask them about their politics. However, this is the now commonly held view of academia, and over the decades has brought about a sea change in the status of academics in society. This, of course, is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it is in our DNA to be socially engaged and to want to influence public discourse. It is part and parcel of who we are to cry out against the evils of society and to promote social justice. We are trained to look at things from different perspectives and to write about what we are thinking. How can we not do that which defines our very being and existence? However, on the other hand, by doing so, we are only strengthening the hand of those who seek to weaken the so-called monopoly of the universities. While the above is disturbing and could have severe consequences for the future of the universities and higher education in general, we have to shoulder some of the blame for the state of affairs. As the universities have come more and more under attack, our response has been, for the most part, to retreat and focus inwards on our institutions and our research, rather than seeking ways to engage with the public and show them the importance of what it is we're doing. The amazing breakthroughs in medicine and technology are relatively easy sells and marketable commodities, which are very important and provide immediate justification for the taxpayer's shekel, but they are not what I am referring to. Rather, I am talking about the questions which are asked and the discussions which take place in the halls and corridors of academia on the meaning and quality of life, ethics, society, justice, beliefs, politics, and social welfare. These are the less quantifiable and less visible parts of academic life and are not restricted to any one discipline, but are at the heart of what we do and underlie everything, whether openly or in more subtle ways. This forms the core of what we, as a leading university in Israel and the world, see as our mission: to improve life, not only in the physical sense, but also qualitatively. And we do that through continuously asking questions about everything, taking nothing for granted, being prepared to admit that we do not have all the answers, but that we are devoted to searching for them through continuing engagement, debate, and discussion. That is what a university is all about, or at least should be. How do we transmit this central aspect of who and what we are to the broader public? How do we engage them in our discussions? How do we share the less quantifiable aspects of our research with those who pay our wages? How do we infuse them with the intellectual excitement that we feel and make them realize that this is a conversation that is worth having and will benefit us all? How do we create an atmosphere of trust between academia and the public, which will bring down the barriers between us and encourage lifelong learning and curiosity? How do we actively participate in constructing a better society and vibrant democracy in partnership with the elected officials of this country, without them viewing us as a threat? I will not attempt to answer these questions now, but I think that we are beholden to finding adequate responses, for our livelihoods might depend on it, and our society will suffer if we are unable to bridge the chasm that exists and is growing between academia and the public. Perhaps a place to start is with our students, who have made the conscious decision to enter the portals of academia, but perhaps are too focused on gaining the skills necessary for the job market, instead of on the less tangible, but no less important benefits of a university education. John Nixon, an intellectual historian who has written about higher education and the public good, suggests that in this day and age, we have a duty to maintain the university as, and I quote, a protected space within which to think against the grain of received opinion, a space to question and challenge, to imagine the world from different standpoints and perspectives, to reflect upon ourselves in relation to others, and in doing, to understand what it means to assume responsibility. This, in my opinion, has to be one of the core functions of our university and needs to be inculcated in our syllabi, in student life on campus, and in our intellectual outreach to the broader community. Just over a month or so ago, elections were held in Israel. In the build-up to the elections, I was surprised to see how little they impacted on campus life. An agreement was signed by the various political groups on campus to engage in respectful dialogue and to encourage a plurality of viewpoints, which was a positive step. But beyond that, not much seemed to be happening. I do not think that any leader of the major parties running for election bothered to come to speak on campus. There were events and panels organized by some academic departments and student bodies, but those taking part were not the major players. There were no public rallies in support of this party or that, no demonstrations dealing with the issues so critical for the future of our country, no debates for or against controversial laws, racism, polarization, and social and economic inequality. All of this speaks loudly to the disconnect between what we do so well and what we should be doing so much better and more of, and is an indication to me that we are not doing enough to promote our university as a safe haven where open debate and the free expression of diverse opinions can take place. We need to be encouraging discussion of civic responsibility, democracy, and all it entails. We need the conversations to take place in the classroom and in the public spaces on campus, and not just in the contentious, polarizing, and limiting arenas of social media. The Senate has just approved a new code of conduct for political and public activity, which will make it easier to hold rallies, meetings, and political events on campus in a responsible manner, and encourage open debate and discussion all over the university. However, this in itself is not enough. In the second book of Plato's Republic, Socrates says, I quote, "I think that justice belongs in the best class of goods, that which should be loved both for its own sake and for the sake of its consequences by anyone who is going to be blessed," end quote. In other words, for Plato, a person's happiness depends on his acting justly at all times. And Socrates will further expound on this issue, that it is true also for the city and state. I have, of course, done a serious injustice to both Plato and Socrates in my brief outline of a much more complex and convoluted discussion. But the point I'm trying to make is that our future as a university and country depends on our not sitting back comfortably, but getting socially engaged and not fearing to stick up for our opinions and for what we think is right. I would like to congratulate the remarkable individuals sitting here on the stage that we are honoring tonight with the degree of Doctor Honoris Causa. You are role models with distinguished records of vision, leadership, and excellence who have, each in his or her areas, attempted to make a difference, striven to follow their own truths and conscience, and have done what they can to the best of their abilities for the betterment of society and the world. I would like to thank each and every one of you for accepting the title of Doctor Honoris Causa from our university. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Haynes. Well, as I'm sure you're all aware, 4 days ago, Israel had the honor of hosting the 64th annual Eurovision Song Contest in Tel Aviv, giving Israel a chance to present Israel at its best to the myriad visitors and viewers from across the world. In celebration of that event, our song selection for you tonight is based entirely on Israel's past entries into the Eurovision. And with that in mind, here is Liat Eliyahu to sing A Sham, Somewhere, written by Ehud Manor, composed by Nurit Hirsch, and originally sung by Ilanit in Israel's debut performance in the Eurovision in 1973.
בחצי הלילה ואני ערה, חלומות באים לסף, זה השקט שלפני הסערה, בוא נלך עכשיו. שם, שם ראיתי קשת בענן, שם, שם עולה הבוקר בלבן, אי שם, שם נמצא ביחד את הגן, את גן האהבה. שם, שם שמעתי שיר ישן נושן, שם, שם ירח לילה לילה, שם, שם נמצא ביחד את הגן, את גן האהבה. את ביתי הלילה הרוחות עוטפים, אוחזים בו מכל צד, אל מעבר לאבים אנו עפים, יד אוחזת יד. יום חדש הלילה בליבי נוקש, ואתה קרב עמו, את גני התכלת יחד נבקש, שם נבוא. שם, שם ראיתי קשת בענן, שם, שם עולה הבוקר בלבן, אי שם, שם נמצא ביחד את הגן, את גן האהבה. שם, שם שמעתי שיר ישן נושן, שם, שם ירח לילה לילה, שם, שם נמצא ביחד את הגן, את גן האהבה.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Liat Eliyahu, for that beautiful performance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin awarding the honorary doctorates to this year's nominees, we'd like to pay special tribute to a longtime member of the Board of Governors. Asher Khaled has served Ben-Gurion University for many years as chairman of the executive committee. In thanks for his steadfast friendship and support, we honor him tonight with a 2019 President's Award. It's my honor to call up the president of the university, Professor Shama, and chairman of the Board of Governors, Mr. Goren. And I'm honored now to call up Asher Khaled to stand between the president and the chairman. The scroll reads, "The President's Award for many years of service to Ben-Gurion University is awarded to Asher Khaled for your contributions and actions during your many years of service on the Executive Committee, in appreciation for the invaluable advice and devoted dedication to expanding the boundaries of research and knowledge, and your role in determining the place of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev as a top-level academic institution, and in honor of your partnership in the mission of the university in promoting the Negev and the future of the State of Israel." I ask the President now to present Asher Khaled with a scroll. Thank you, Professor Shamovitz, Mr. Goren, and thank you, Asher Khaled, for your unwavering support and service on behalf of the university. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, we now proceed to the conferring of the honorary doctorates. Before each honorary doctorate recipient is called upon, we'll present a short film capturing their achievements. Once the film is ended, the recipient will approach the front of the stage where the honorary degree will be conferred by President Shamovitz and Rector Hames. The rector will confer the hood, the president will confer the scroll. We now proceed with the conferring of the honorary doctorates. The university honors Judge Professor Ahmad Natour and confers upon him an honorary doctorate.
אני נולדתי בעיירה הזאת, קלנסווה, שזה במרכז הארץ. זאת עיירה מאוד שקטה, לפחות הייתה כך. אמא הייתה מאוד אדם חם, אוהב, מחבק כל הזמן, תומך. אבא לימד אותי, אף פעם אל תתנסה על אנשים שאתה מעליהם, ואל תתגרה באנשים שהם מעליך. וכי כבוד לא כופים על בני אדם, אלא תוך אהבה שאתה משדר, תוך כבוד שאתה נותן לאנשים, ככה אנשים מחזירים לך את הכבוד. חשבתי שאני רוצה להיות פרופסור באוניברסיטה. חשבתי שזה בעצם המקסימום שאפשר לחלום עליו, להיות מרצה באוניברסיטה. חברים אמרו, העלו את הרעיון, מדוע שאתה לא תגיש מועמדות לוועדת בחירת השופטים, הקאדים בזמנו. ואז הצגתי באמת מועמדות, זה היה בשנת 1985, ונבחרתי. העיסוק בתחום המשפחה הוא עיסוק מאוד מאוד קשה ומאוד מכאיב. ואני מגלה לך סוד, יותר מפעם אחת התרגשתי ולעיתים הרגשתי את הדמעות בעיניים. אני תמיד הייתי מכנס את השופטים שלי והייתי אומר להם, קודם כל אתה תהיה בן אדם. לפני שאתה שופט, לפני שאתה אוהב את הגלימה ואתה יושב ככה על הבמה הגבוהה, תהיה בן אדם. בכל תפקיד שאדם מקיים אותו, חייב להיות טביעת אצבע. חייב להיות דבר שאת עשית כדי שבאמת שתאמיני בינך לבין עצמך שאת שלך את עשית. במשפט הדתי יש מין סטריאוטייפ שבדרך כלל האישה איננה שווה, איננה מקבלת זכויותיה. עכשיו הדין השרעי נותן את הזכויות וקובע שוויון בין שני המינים. הבעיה הייתה ביישום ובהבנת הטקסט. הרבה אבק, הייתי אומר, נערם על היישום של כמה עקרונות שבאו מהמשפט המוסלמי, שהגיע הזמן לנער אותם. ולכן אני עשיתי מאמץ כביר כדי לפרש מחדש חלק מהטקסט, כדי לחזור באמת ולקיים את המטרה האמיתית והעיקרית של הטקסט. ישנם שורה של רפורמות שעשינו שם, וזה נותן סיפוק כמובן, כאשר את רואה את הפידבק, את הערכה של הציבור, זה בעצם הפרס שאת מקבלת. אחרי דרך ארוכה של עשייה, ילדים שאני לימדתי באוניברסיטה נהיו שופטים, והם אוכפים אותם, הם מיישמים את הדברים שאני עשיתי. אני רוצה לנצל את ההזדמנות הזאת להודות באמת לאוניברסיטה על כך שנפל בחלקי לזכות בתואר הכבוד הזה, וכמובן שאני מאחל לה הצלחה מרובה.
I now call upon Judge Professor Ahmad Natour to please rise and come forward to the center of the stage. I invite the President and the Rector to rise and join the honoree. The scroll reads, "The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Judge Professor Ahmad Natour in acknowledgement of an eminent and visionary jurist, an ardent champion of human rights, who has left an enduring mark on Sharia law in Israel. With esteem for an erudite Qadi and scholar who, in his many years as president of the High Sharia Court of Appeals, worked to develop Israel's Islamic courts by initiating profound reforms and transforming them into a modern legal system accessible to all people. With sincere appreciation for the dedication and sensitivity with which he assisted countless families and administered the affairs of the Islamic Waqf and judicial appointments. In homage to a venerable educator, role model to generations of students, for his extensive service to the public, including as chairman of the Public Council for Special Education for Arabs, honorary president of the Interfaith Council of Israel, and a member of many diverse organizations devoted to civil rights and to fostering Arabic language and culture, and with deep gratitude for his valiant and unrelenting efforts to safeguard the status of women and children, and for his long-standing commitment to promoting tolerance and understanding across Israeli society for the benefit of all, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The university honors Dr. Jan Low and confers upon her an honorary doctorate.
I grew up in Denver, Colorado, which is a mountainous state in the United States. My mother and father both believed that girls could do anything they wanted to do. That upbringing I had was very influential because we were always supported in our decisions to go and seek new experiences. When I was in 5th and 6th grade, I really wanted to buy a horse that I had found. So I skipped lunch for 2 years to save the lunch money, and I went up to my father and I put the money on his desk and I said, I've saved the money to buy this horse. And I think he was so impressed that he let me buy that horse. And it gave me that sense of direction and a desire to be good at whatever I did. When I was growing up, it was when National Geographic was showing a lot of the work that Jane Goodall was doing with chimpanzees. And I sort of thought, that's the kind of thing I could envision going into, working and studying in the forests and learning about that. So when I made the decision to go to college, I majored in zoology. And we had the really rare opportunity during that time to go on a study abroad program. And it was only for 5 students, and they placed us in households in Nairobi, in Kenya, for a number of weeks, which was a wonderful experience and enabled me to start learning Kiswahili. And I really learned and decided at that point that I wanted to make a career working in sub-Saharan Africa. For me, it's a no-brainer consideration to integrate nutritional concerns into agricultural programs. Vitamin A deficiency is a major problem in sub-Saharan Africa. And here is a crop that is widely grown and mostly grown by women. And not surprisingly, we found after a year of the intervention that when we did the community level nutrition education, we got more incorporation and frequency of use of the orange flesh sweet potato in the young child diet. And that was our goal. I think I'm passionate about helping women, and I'm passionate about making a difference to nutrition and agriculture. Where that drive comes from, I don't know. You have to sort of have faith in what your ideas and what you believe in. I had always wanted to do the follow-up research to what I'd done in Kenya. So I put together an integrated proposal, and literally in my vacation time and other periods of time when I had an opportunity to visit donors, it took 3.5 years to get it funded. I went to 21 different donors before a donor said yes. This is the story I tell to up-and-coming researchers. If you have a good idea, stick with it. You may just be ahead of your time. I don't know Ben-Gurion University very well, but it has the reputation for being the most innovative university in Israel, and that makes me particularly honored to receive this recognition from them. And I hope to be able to collaborate with researchers and students from Ben-Gurion in the future.
I call upon Dr. Jan Low to please come forward and ask the President and Rector to rise and join her. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Dr. Jan Low in acknowledgement of an exceptional scientist whose brilliant advances in the field of food security have transformed the lives of millions around the world. With deep regard for an exemplary innovator whose groundbreaking work in biofortification, the breeding of sweet potato varieties rich in vitamins and minerals, has led directly to the alleviation of hunger and the reduction of illness in developing nations, with a concurrent empowerment of women. In appreciation of a visionary leader, head of the International Potato Center, who has astutely translated her pioneering research into a means of improving the quality and availability of healthy food in numerous African countries, and continues to expand the project for the benefit of countless people throughout the continent. In tribute to a celebrated researcher, co-laureate of the 2016 World Food Prize, and an inspiring role model to colleagues and followers, and with heartfelt gratitude for her diligent dedication to the expansion of human knowledge and to fostering fellowship and cooperation among all nations for the welfare of all humankind, by conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. And now we will hear the song Hallelujah, first performed in 1979 by Gali Atari and the Milk and Honey Ensemble, who won the Eurovision for that year. It will be sung once again by Liat Eliyahu.
Hallelujah, la'olam. Hallelujah, yashiru kulam. במילה אחת בודדה, הלב מה שהיה ומה שעוד לא היה. הללויה, הללויה, day by day. Hallelujah, don't throw it away. Fly and spread your wings, have a try. Be free again like a butterfly. Come along and sing with us. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Sounds of love. Hallelujah, the sunshine above. Hallelujah, the bells we go ringing and ringing from dawn to night. Hallelujah, hallelujah, la oh la. Hallelujah, ישירו כולם, והענבלים הגדולים יהדהדו בהמון צלילים, ואיתנו הם יאמרו הללויה, הללויה, hand in hand, hallelujah, all over the land. Hallelujah, let's try from the start and sing it with all our hearts. Hallelujah, hallelujah, ותנו יד ביד ושירו מלב אחד. הללויה, ושירו מלב אחד. Hallelujah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Liat. We now proceed with the conferring of the honorary degrees. The university honors Ambassador Daniel B. Shapiro and confers upon him an honorary doctorate.
I grew up in Champaign, Illinois, and my parents in their early adult lives were not extremely Jewishly identified. And what began to change in our family life was when I was 4 years old. My parents had a sabbatical, and they decided to take that year and come to Israel. It was a very magnificent adventure for us until Yom Kippur. It was the fall of 1973 when we heard the sirens and we saw the men running from synagogue to go join their units at the front and to save their country. The experience changed completely. It was such an intense experience for us as a family that it forged a connection to Israel that I don't think would have happened in any other circumstance. And I can trace the line to today from that experience of going to Israel in 1973 when I was 4 years old. I never imagined I would come back to Israel as the United States ambassador. I had the great honor to be sworn in by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. I was proud to share it with my daughters and my wife. I also felt a great responsibility. And when I finally got here in the summer of 2011, I understood that I had been preparing for that job my whole life. There were areas where we had great success. We dramatically strengthened and upgraded the U.S.-Israel security partnership in every respect, in the technology that we share, in the missile defense platforms like Iron Dome, which I had a big part, along with President Obama, in bringing the funding for, and which has now saved countless Israeli lives and Palestinian lives with the interceptions of over 1,000 rockets. I have a very firm core of moral values, of belief in what's important. I really want to have engagement with people who disagree and who come with a different perspective and then look for ways to find common ground. I'm an optimist. I'm somebody who finds the rays of hope even in a difficult situation, and it would usually set me on the right path. One of the best moments for me personally and for our family when I was serving as ambassador was when President Obama came to visit. In the final moments, we were going to say goodbye to President Obama at the airport, and so he greeted us with incredible warmth, incredible friendship. He called me brother, and in some ways the most symbolic moment of what we were here to try to do. I found Ben-Gurion University in some ways encapsulated what I found most admirable about Israeli society, and in some ways most promising about the partnerships that the United States and Israel can build together. So I love coming to Ben-Gurion University, and I can't think of a place that would be more meaningful for me to be recognized. And I was just blown away by the offer and accepted it with great humility and great gratitude.
I call upon Ambassador Daniel B. Shapiro to please come forward and ask the President and Rector to stand beside him. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Ambassador Daniel B. Shapiro in recognition of an accomplished diplomat who served as the ambassador of the United States to Israel, with respect for his loyal and dedicated service to his country in the execution of high-level responsibilities in the American administration, including as Senior Director for the Middle East and North Africa at the National Security Council, in appreciation of a skilled advisor who shared his expertise and experience with his nation's highest leaders, including as Director for Legislative Affairs in the Clinton administration and Senior Policy Advisor for the Obama campaign, with esteem for the key roles he's played in securing military support for Israel and in various negotiations to improving regional relations, to a true friend of the State of Israel, who shares the vision of developing the Negev and has tied his family's future to this country, with gratitude for his invaluable contributions to promoting trade relations with the US and for his wholehearted advocacy of the alliance between the two nations, and with sincere admiration for his dedication to building understanding across cultures and continents to ensure a brighter future for the people of the Middle East and the entire world, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The university honors Toni Young and confers upon her an honorary doctorate.
I was born in Providence, Rhode Island, but I really grew up on Long Island, New York. My mother, who was born in 1924, was kind of ahead of her time. She was a very independent woman. She graduated from Pembroke College in the early 40s, which many women still in the United States didn't go to college then. And she was very secure about who she was, so that she taught me to be independent, to think for myself. She gave me great self-confidence. My dad was the kind of person who could take anything in stride and made you feel calm. He was always mellow and taught me to chill out a bit. I believe I had an idyllic, wonderful childhood. I was given the ability to just experiment and try things. My grandfather, for 20 years, was president of something called the Hebrew National Orphan Home. And he would bring us letters, and we would sit there and read them from the different boys who had gone through there, thanking him and the others, of course, for how he had changed their lives. And I thought, this is something I would like to be able to do in my own humble way, is to try to help people. When I became the first chair of the campaign for the Federation in Delaware, they gave me a list to call for gifts, and there were no first names of any women. So I said, well, I can't call people. I can't call and ask for Mrs. Young. They said, why not? And so we went and we got first names of all the women. That's how far we've come. I think the advice for young women is what they know very well, that they can do anything and they are capable. I love to read. I read all the time. I actually majored in Spanish in college, and it turned into a literature major. I got a master's degree too. I wrote my first book that was published about the Grand Opera House called The Grand Experience, my daughter's first year of life, because they sleep most of the time. So while she was sleeping, I was writing. When I was older, I began to read Amos Oz and really loved his literature very much, and I've read a lot of his books. Amos Oz taught at Ben-Gurion University for decades. I think it's very important for his words to continue to be spread. My husband and I funded an initiative, the Amos Oz Initiative in Literature down at Ben-Gurion University. We are encouraging the kids to understand more about the values of literature, both through contests where they do creative writing, through bringing them to Heksharim where they can see books and learn more about what books mean, and just to try to make literature a more important part of their everyday lives. I believe that literature is an enormously important way to get to know any culture, and certainly I'm eager to promote Hebrew literature. I feel an energy when I come to Beersheba and to the university. I think all kinds of exciting innovations are coming out of the university and the area. It's an extraordinary honor to get this honorary doctorate from BGU.
I call upon Toni Young to please rise and come forward and invite the president and rector to join her. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Toni Young with admiration for a passionate leader and benefactor of the American Jewish community who generously contributes her time and efforts to a range of public causes at home and abroad, including as president of the American Associates, Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, former vice chair of the United Jewish Communities of North America, and president of the Jewish Federation of Delaware. With regard for a prolific author and scholar, a lover of arts and literature, for her unstinting support of culture and higher education. In appreciation of an individual profoundly committed to strengthening relationships and ties between Jewish Americans and Israelis, especially those in the Negev, through service to multiple organizations such as American Friends of Natal and the Bezalel Art Academy, and past service to the Jewish Agency for Israel and the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee. With esteem for a cherished friend, member of the Ben-Gurion Society and the Board of Governors of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, and with heartfelt gratitude to a steadfast ally in the university's mission for her magnanimous contributions toward establishing the Writers' House in Beersheba and the Amos Oz Initiative for Literature and Culture, enriching the lives and spirits of the Negev's residents, one and all, by conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The university honors Ohad Naharin and confers upon him an honorary doctorate.
נולדתי בקיבוץ מזרע. הורים מאוד ליברליים, אוהבי אדם, מאוד יצירתיים. אבא שלי אף פעם לא אמר לי לא, ואני מודה לו על כך. אמא שלי היא מאוד מוזיקלית, היא מאוד קואורדינטיבית, נתנה לי מתנה מאוד יפה. הייתי ילד במלוא המובן. חסר אחריות, סקרן, משתוללן, נהנתן, עצלן. ודווקא עצלנות מאוד דייקה לי את מה שעשיתי תמיד בחיים. אם כבר עשיתי משהו, אז צריך לאהוב ולרצות לעשות את זה. זה היה ממש לא ברור שאני אהיה רקדן. גם כשהלכתי לשיעור של להקת בת שבע, קרה משהו שאפשר לי לעשות משהו שאני אוהב. הקטע של ההישגי, זה לא היה בהרהור שלי. אני הרגשתי הרבה יותר ילד במגרש משחקים חדש, שאני בודק, מנסה. מאז שאני זוכר את עצמי, אני זוכר סקרנות לפיזיולוגיה, איך הדבר הזה, הגוף, עובד. לא רק שלי, של אנשים אחרים, של חיות. סקרנות שלי לאיך דברים נראים, לארגון, לחלוקה בחלל, קומפוזיציה, ארכיטקטורה, המתח שבין אלמנטים, החיבור של זה אחר כך לגרוב, לקצב, ולאו דווקא דרך מוזיקה, אלא דרך תנועה. כל יצירה היא סוג של מגרש משחקים, שבו אני קובע למשחק המסוים הזה את הקודים שלו, ואני מלמד את הרקדנים את הקודים האלה, ולכן משחק שונה מאחר, כי יש לו קודים אחרים. תוקף תפקידי כמנהל וככוריאוגרף, אתה חייב ללמוד לעבוד עם אנשים, לקבל אותם, ליצור להם רשת ביטחון, לאהוב אותם, ללמוד מהם, להיות מוכן לשנות את דעתך. בכל פעם שאני פוגש את היצירה שלי, אני פוגש אותה דרך הרקדנים שמפרשים אותה. אם אני מתרגש, אפילו עד דמעות, זה מהפירוש של הרקדנים ולא מהכוריאוגרפיה. יש ביטוי שקוראים לו out of the box, מחוץ לקופסה. אבל בואו נחשוב רגע שבעצם אין קופסה. אז לא צריך להיות מחוץ לקופסה. ולכן גם לא צריך לחשוב שעושים משהו אמיץ או נועז, כשאתה חושב והוגע על משהו, כי אתה לא יוצא משום קופסה. אתה עדיין נמצא בתוך האפשרויות שהדמיון שלך מאפשר, שהחקירה שלך, שהערעור שלך, שהסקרנות שלך. אז אולי זה קשור, כשאנשים אומרים לי על אומץ, אני לא מרגיש שאני אמיץ, כי אני חושב שאומץ קשור לזה שאתה באמת עושה משהו שאתה עלול לשלם עליו מחיר מאוד גבוה. אין לי את התחושה הזו כשאני עושה את ההחלטות שאני עושה, גם אם אני אכשל.
I call upon Ohad Naharin to please rise and come to the center of the stage and ask the President and Rector to join him. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Ohad Naharin with admiration for a renowned virtuoso, one of the preeminent choreographers of our time, who imbues every dance with extraordinary qualities and wins audiences worldwide with his brilliant and inventive work. In recognition of a gifted dancer who trained with the greatest masters, became an exceptional choreographer, and went on to serve as artistic director of the acclaimed Batsheva dance company for many years. With appreciation for the international triumphs of a towering figure in Israeli contemporary dance, founder of the Batsheva ensemble. In homage to the prolific and ingenious author of dozens of singular dance works, performed to critical acclaim on the world's most prestigious stages, who has become a global emissary of Israeli culture and art. In tribute to a celebrated artist, recipient of numerous awards and honors, including the Israel Prize and Knight of the French Order of Letters. A visionary creator and developer of the innovative Gaga movement language, linking body and mind and extending human movement beyond familiar limits. And with profound gratitude to a distinctive cultural voice for revolutionizing the world of modern dance and for creating magnificent works that uplift the human spirit everywhere, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. It now gives me pleasure to invite Ambassador Daniel Shapiro to the podium to respond on behalf of the recipients of the Honorary Doctorate.
It is with great honor and great humility that I represent the recipients of the honorary doctorates by the Ben-Gurion University of the Negev this evening. To President Shama, to the Senate and the Executive Committee of the University, and to the International Board of Governors assembled here in Beersheba. On behalf of my fellow honorees, I offer you our profound gratitude for the honor you have bestowed on us. And we thank our families, our friends, colleagues, and dear ones for the support and love that has brought us to this moment. And with a point of personal privilege, I thank my wife, Julie, my daughter, Shira, who is here, and our daughters, Liat and Meirav, and my parents, Michael and Elizabeth Shapiro, who have traveled to be with us. Each of us, your honorees, has tried, with all our abilities and our imperfections, to bring to the world some benefit from our knowledge, our gifts, and our understanding of our chosen fields. As I look at the amazing accomplishments of my fellow honorees and consider those I have labored to achieve, I am struck by the willingness each of us has tried to bring to break down barriers, to blaze new trails, to strive to do what has not yet been done, to nourish the human body and spirit and society. It reminds me of one of David Ben-Gurion's most famous sayings: if an expert says it can't be done, get another expert. We try to be the second expert. And with that expertise, we have pushed back hunger and brought food security to millions, touched souls and built communities through dance, the beauty of the human body and movement, forged new frontiers in Islamic law and the advancement of Arabs in Israeli society, built, led, and commemorated Jewish communities and provided profound leadership to this university, and strengthened and deepened the relationship between the United States and Israel in pursuit of the peace and security that will benefit both nations. In every case, our work has been conducted in the spirit of this university, this jewel in the state of Israel and its higher education system, this contributor to the transformation of the city of Beersheba and the fulfillment of Ben-Gurion's dream of developing the Negev and serving all of its people. During my tenure as United States Ambassador, while visiting every Israeli university at least once, I found myself drawn back to this place again and again, transfixed and inspired by its growth, its energy, its creativity, and the special quality of its faculty and students. They are scholars and pioneers. They are cybersecurity whiz kids and water engineers, nurses and poets. They are Bedouin, Sabra Israelis, and immigrants. They, you, are taking leadership roles in Israeli education and achievement and helping raise the country to new heights. To be counted among your number as recipients of honorary doctorates is an immense privilege. The weekly Torah portion this week, Parshat Behar, provides instructions for how the Jewish people should mark the Yovel, the Jubilee, the 50th year of the agricultural cycle. The commandments largely revolve around restrictions on agriculture and the freeing of slaves. As the Ramban explains, the Yovel, the Jubilee, is about freedom, and it is about people who have been enslaved being able to return to their homes. But there is a deeper meaning of return. It is about the return to our true essence, to our best selves, to our core purpose. The Yovel is considered holy because it marks a communal act of rededication, of returning to first principles, of remembering what makes us human, of what makes us a community, of what makes us a people. Next year is the Yovel year, the Jubilee year of Ben-Gurion University, the 50th anniversary of its founding in 1969. There is no better time for the university community and all of its supporters to rededicate themselves to the university's mission, to contribute to Israel's development in every field, to educate its youth, to serve all of Israel's communities, to forge relationships across the globe, and of course, to make the Negev bloom. As you mark this Jubilee, we, your honorees, applaud all that has been achieved in the first 50 years and offer our best wishes and support for the next 50 to come. May you go from chayil to chayil, from strength to strength. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony is now drawing to a close. Before singing the national anthem, I'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening. You're asked to please remain in your places until the conclusion of the recessional, and a reception will be held in the Udi Garden immediately after this. You're all invited. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for Hatikva.
נפש יהודי הומיה ולפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
תודה רבה. לילה טוב. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being with us.